Hey guys, Devo here. Today I'm gonna show you the strongest endgame build for Shadowhunter, specifically Demonic Impulse, to prepare for Vaulted, and a budget version of it that anyone can get for only 2 to maybe 5k if you're super unlucky, but outputs also about a million DPS. Honestly, Shadowhunter may be the absolute strongest class in the game, not only DPS wise, but his insane survivability and tankiness due to self-healing. Right now my Shadowhunter does over a million DPS and I'm still missing one massive part to complete my build. Basically the cooldown reduction gem, because with this you can get a whole extra rotation of combo off, which I also simulated by removing cooldowns, and I went up to 1.3 million DPS. I'm very curious what's your strongest class and highest DPS with a 4x3 engraving. Comment down below and let me know, please. I wanna see who can beat me so I can make that class ASAP. Alright, without further talk, let's start with the main build and followed up by the under 5k budget build with about the same results. But I'll also explain what's your optimal rotation and combos to get the most damage out of it. Demonic, Berserker and Sorceress are currently the strongest but also the most expensive classes in the games, followed by support. 4 engravings to level 3 cost you about 50k, which is what I was gathering for 2 weeks because I really wanted to invest in the 4th one. 3 engravings cost below 5k and do about the same exact damage almost, but I'm a DPS fan and I always love to maximize. My engravings are Demonic Impulse 3 for 30% extra crit rate, Keen Blunt 3 which boosts your crit damage by 50%, and this skill is only worth if your crit rate is above like 50 to 60%, but we do have way more than that, about 85% I believe. It also can by RNG reduce your damage by 20% on a hit, but it's still an overall 30% increased damage if not more. Adrenaline 3 is a super important skill since it boosts your crit rate by 15% and it gives additional 6% damage at full stacks. And finally Grudge. Grudge is one of the best skills in game since it increases your total damage by 20%, but you also take 20% more damage. I thought at first Grudge is overrated, but it's really not. I have just on all of my alt accounts, I have only Demonic Pulse and Grudge and I outdamage everyone. I always have 50 to 40% damage dealer. On my alt accounts I round it with 1 level of heavy armor to cancel out the side effect. Luckily, Shadowhunter heals himself by like 20% health every time you go into demon mode, which is almost every 30 seconds. So it's one of the safest classes to use Grudge. If you're still uncomfortable with it, I highly recommend you to use Hitmaster, which is a 16% damage boost with no penalties at all. Hitmaster increases the damage of non-front or back attacks, which is basically every single of your attacks in demon mode. So yeah, it's basically a cheaper version with like 4% less damage, no big deal. Now quickly on how to get these engravings. On the character slots you use Adrenaline and Keen Blunt on purple, giving you each 9 power node points. And this is basically free, you get weekly so many purple books, and on the auction house it's like 50 gold each. The stone must be a combination of whatever you put in the slots. So if you went for Keen Blunt and Adrenaline, you get a stone with Keen Blunt and Adrenaline. They cost around 1k on average, so you will need about 5k gold for the stone on average to get a 6/6 power node point and complete the 2 engravings to level 3. But you can also get the level 2 ability stone for much less gold. You will have less HP, but that's up to you. Surprisingly, Grudge and Impulse was much cheaper than Adrenaline or Keen Blunt with Demonic Impulse on the equipment. The necklace is gonna be the most expensive. I bought mine for 25k. Please pay attention that specialization is the highest stat. For example, here one has a low spec, you don't want that at all. And the other one has both equal or mostly spec is higher. So you also wanna aim for higher spec. Spec not only increases your damage, but increases your demon mode uptime. The speed you get in the demon mode, you get more meter gain, and the damage of all your demon skills, so spec it is. The other 4 parts you can get for below 6k easily, or get lucky with the 3k like here. I just opened the shop and it was there. I got mine also for about 3 to 4k. that was pretty much it. 50k, you can get 50k in 2 weeks, guys, if you save your gold and efficiently sell mats, sell everything, go fishing a little bit and stuff, maybe drop a good gem, a good equipment. The gems you will actually need are only two, a demon skill damage and cooldown gem. I got insanely lucky and I managed to combine myself a level 7 for damage, but on the cooldown one I'm stuck with a level 3 gem. I was still unlucky there. That's why I mentioned before that this can go way over a million DPS. I farm gems from my alt accounts or buy any class level 4 gems on the auction house, which are pretty cheap, and just combine them. The rest should be cooldown reduction if you still have gems left for the other skills in case you don't come with one rotation demon form or miss an attack. Now to the skills and runes. I know everyone uses dash instead of cutter. On every class everyone uses dash, but I've never been in a situation where I do need an extra dash, but feel free to go for it. I also like crew cutter because it filled the gap I was missing for one rotation demon mode, since it also gives you a tiny bit of demon meter, but I don't need it anymore. With 1.5k spec you won't need it. Thrust impact super important due to its shadow burst meter gain skill. Demonic clone, which also has a meter boost, and it's really important to try to upgrade the skill tree for at least the skills. Look, on level 3 it already gives a 20% more meter gain than on level 1. Rising Claw is your counter. Demonic Vision is your strongest meter gain skill besides Soul. Concentrated Release for more duration and more meter gain. Enroaching Power for more meter gain, which I sadly have only on level 2 here, but it's still enough, and Instant Discharge. Demon Grip has also enroaching power, and I prefer the stretching hand. I think it does a bit more damage, but also more meter gain. Hole is the second huge meter gain skill, but also burst window increase due to Scream of Fury, which increases the enemy's damage taken by 12%. And the last is Decimate, a great skill for distraction, but also great meter gain for some reason when you pair it with Cruel Hand Explosion. Wealth runes should go to Vision and Hole. You do not need the golden rune. Honestly, I didn't notice any difference when I dropped it last week. I was getting into demon mode in one rotation even without it. A purple and blue rune are completely fine as long as you run the same setup with high enough spec. If you don't know how to get runes, just click on this codex button. It literally shows you how to get every single item in the game. I also didn't know that, I just realized it like 2 weeks ago. Alright, now that we're done with the build, I'll show you an explanation of optimal combos. You want to use high meter gain skills, which is everything besides counter and dash or crew cutter. Hole will be the last skill in the rotation and should be used only if it fills up the meter fully. So you have for 6 seconds 12% more damage that you can burst the strong demon skills. After the thrust impact, you can reposition yourself with a dash or any other skills that puts you forward. Pay attention to have the Argos 2 or 5 set bonus fully stacked, and also Adrenaline to maximize your crit rate, because you really don't want to miss crit there, but it happens sometimes, you can't avoid it. I usually start with the Awakening or the S ability, since it's the two highest damaging skills, and I want the 12% extra damage from Hole on them. Since the Awakening puts you far away, use the A or Q ability to reposition to the monster without any DPS downtime. And you saw I only used this 2 times, and also I can't spam abilities. If I had more than a level 3 cooldown gem, my DPS will jump for about 200 to 300k more. I tested it yesterday by simulating the no cooldown with the option there. That was pretty much it. Quick info on how to make the budget build with only 3 engravings once you're 1370. Below 1370, don't even try. It's way too expensive. Focus on gearing up first and keep 2 engravings. You basically get your class engraving to level 3 only with the equipment, which is super cheap. With like 400 to 500 gold, you can get a whole set. Look at this. That's why it's only worth to gear up after 1370. Because you get the +3 engraving and they're super cheap. If you look for, some people on my previous video said, yeah, you don't need to use tier 2 gear below 1370, you can just buy it. Below 1370, it's like you won't find any ring. Try it. You would search for demonic impulse below version 17. You won't find any cheap ring, and it's also only +2. Then again, 2 engravings of your choice in the slots, either Adrenaline with Kinblunt, or with Hitmaster, or with Grudge. And again, you spend about 2k on average for a 6/6 stone here. There you go, 3 engravings for 5k, 2k if you get it with the first time on the stone. No clickbait, just gotta do it efficiently once you're 3070. Alright guys, I hope this helped you and give you a better understanding of Shadowhunter. I appreciate you very much if you watched all the way here. If you don't mind supporting me, a single thumbs up or a comment of what you want to see next helps a lot. And subscribe for future content with the bell on. And with that said, I wish you all a nice day and happy farming. Don't forget.